Okay, I'm here with actor Joseph David Jones. Thank you so much for taking time to meet with me.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
So when did you first decide you wanted to be an actor?
I guess I've been acting for about like 6 years now. Man, it kind of flies. I didn't want to be an actor initially. In fact, I was in school for engineering when I ended up stumbling into this. And I had started with modeling and ended up doing a competition in New York called IMTA and didn't do that well in modeling and ended up getting Male Actor of the Year. So after the competition, literally a bunch of agencies wanted to sign me in LA and New York, and I ended up flipping a coin to decide where I was going to go and ended up in LA and haven't looked back since.
And you've done some pretty high profile
Man,
roles for being so, being so new. You were on Legends of Tomorrow.
I've been lucky, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to shoot. Hey, do I talk about Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Alright, with that, everything was like kind of shrouded in secrecy with the character that I was playing. So they had the costume and everything, but they had a cloak that they made for me. So like every time I was walking around on set, I had to be in this like crazy overcoat cloak thing, so like no one could see me and know what like comic book character I was, and like their cameramen like hiding in the corners and stuff trying to take pictures. Yeah, it was crazy, but I don't know, it was so much fun shooting that and being a superhero.
Better get used to the paparazzi coming after you. Hopefully you're not in costume when they come after you.
Right.
So you also were in the Legion as Hollis. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I would say that was my first like big budget film. So it's good. It kind of helped prepare me for how this was going to be. The last time I was in New York was actually for the premiere of that film.
Okay.
If anything, it was a learning experience to say the least. And it was the first time that I was really working with like high caliber actors and actresses like Naomi Watts and Octavia Spencer, and like I mean, you've seen them, seeing them work, and it like I don't know, it really changed the curve of really added like a learning curve to what I was doing in Hollywood, and just getting to see what these people do in their processes for like a movie that's that magnitude, as well as how crazy fans are for those things, man. Those teenagers and stuff, they really love that series, and like pictures kept coming out on set of like us doing stuff. People would like leak stuff, so they were like extra careful about us not revealing like who had died and who until people actually saw the movie.
And now you were just currently this season you played Clay on Nashville, which was really beautiful job on that show.
Thank you so much.
What was that experience like? I know it was kind of not a heavy character. Started out light and then went in a direction that ended up a little bit heavier.
It's funny because like I started shooting Nashville when I was still shooting Detroit, so like I was going back and forth between the two sets, and like it was like the lighter of the two,
right?
Obviously, so it was a lot more fun, and like a lot more levity doing the Nashville stuff. It was so great to be able to fuse music in with another role, and I got to play the guitar and like learn a bunch about musical history, and like country music, man. I hadn't listened to country music at all before I had started doing Nashville, and it's so big there, and there's so many great songs and so many great songwriters in Nashville that it really kind of, I don't know, immersed myself in it while I was there.
Had you ever just thought about being a singer, or?
It's funny because like now, like coming from Detroit and being a musician in there, and Nashville being a musician in there, it seems like I'm doing a lot more of those roles. I've sang and played musical instruments since I was like 3 or 4 years old, and it's always been like kind of an escape for me. Like I can go into music and not have to worry about the business aspect of it, or like trying to make sure I have a certain content that people are liking and like clicking on and everything like that. Like I can't do in acting, and so I've used music as an escape to, I don't know, kind of feel free to express myself and like not be in a business space.
Right. And now let's talk about Detroit. You played Morris in the movie. Why don't you explain a little about the movie and your character?
So Detroit is set in the Detroit Rebellions of 1967, and it's right at the heart of the civil rights movement. So you really get to see how this rebellion unfolded, and like what it did to the city, what it did to the people involved in it. And Morris is in this group called the Dramatics, and it's this music group who are like moments away from their big break. They're about to perform at the Fox Theater, and then this chaos breaks out, and you get to see these people going through the chaos and the riots and the specific event that this movie is about, which is the event at the Algiers Motel, and to see what it does to them afterwards, what it does to the group, what it does to the individuals there, and how this terrible, horrific event affects so many people in so many different ways, and the ripples that happen after that.
No, go, you go.
I was going to say, and you really feel that through the dramatics and through my character.
What was the most challenging part about filming that movie?
It's funny because like someone asked this question back in Detroit when we were doing the press for it, and like my friend who was like also in the group, he was like running in church shoes. Like we ran for I want to say weeks of like the scenes that we did in the like midst of the chaos. We were just running, but we're running in like our performance attire because we had like just left the Fox Theater. I would say the hardest part for me, although I thought that was a funny answer, was there's a scene at a hospital, and you get to see bits and pieces of it, but we shot that scene a lot of different ways, and we shot it for around 5 or 6 hours, and so it was 5 or 6 hours of me like crying in a hospital scene over and over again, and going out in the hallway and having to like make that moment fresh every time.
Right. What did you find the differences between filming Nashville and then filming the movie? Nashville was probably a little bit quicker paced, maybe, or?
It was a completely different shooting style, and Nashville was more of the shooting style that I am used to. Mm-hmm. But the movie Detroit, like it's shot so visceral and so real. We didn't know what we were going to be shooting, and it was really a free environment to kind of try things and experiment. And we shot so many of the takes for so long, and then whatever was good we ended up using. I would say Nashville, their scenes were set up and shot in a way to where they were trying to create moments. Mm-hmm. So like they might cheat something, or they might like move something over here and have different blockings and everything. There were no blockings in the Detroit movie. There were no camera like setups. There was nothing. There would be cameramen hiding in places, and we would just like live through the scene, and they may change the camera or something in between takes, but we would never know about it. So it was really, I would say Nashville was about creating moments, and Detroit was about capturing them.
Now, was there a moment when you were in Morris's shoes, pardon the pun, where you actually felt like you were really immersed in this chaos of Detroit and actually took yourself out of it and almost was trying to picture what it would have been like to be there?
Man, I would say during the main scene that you'll see when we're running through the streets, when we were like running through 12th Street, they did such a good job with the set. They had buildings on fire, cars on fire, and we run out, and the whole goal was to see how like we would react to this, so we didn't know what we were going to see. They had people like carrying dead bodies through the street, people throwing flaming cocktails into storefront windows, and like breaking windows and stuff like that. And like when we first got off of the bus, they set off like sound charges or whatever. So like as soon as we get off the bus, we're like running, and like all of a sudden there's a huge doosh, and like the ground shakes and everybody gets down because we don't know like what's going on at all. Through all of that, it just felt like real. There was never a moment where I was like, I need to like be seeing something. Like it was all there, and it was all like playing out right there in front of us, and it felt like you were there, you know.
What are you working on next?
I just got finished doing this movie called Inner City, and that's with Denzel Washington, Colin Farrell, Dan Gilroy is directing it. Another great.
Say another movie with nobodies who no one knows.
I don't know. Another movie, another romantic comedy.
Very light.
Right, you know. No, it's another movie, and the story is taking on another aspect of the criminal justice system. And this one's going to be really powerful as well. This one's taking on the plea bargaining system, because I believe 90% of people in Los Angeles County take plea deals regardless of whether they're guilty or innocent. And it's because the justice system has bullying tactics, and they threaten people because they don't want, they don't want to lose cases.
Right.
And like they want to make examples of people, so they'll have people with minor charges and give them high criminal sentences to try to convince them to take plea deals, just as they don't want to go to jail for like the next 30 years.
Right.
So like
That's a crazy statistic.
Man,
That's crazy.
and it really, like this film kind of tackles that. Denzel's phenomenal in this thing, man. This is a character I've never kind of seen him play because he's very, very offbeat, I guess. He's very antisocial. I don't want to say autistic, but it's like a form of Asperger's or something, where he's, and it's crazy, but it's unlike anything I've seen him do.
Yeah. And
working with him in that environment and seeing him work was unlike anything I've ever experienced, man. Like this dude's a master of his craft, and like he would change scenes on the fly, and like everything was so real and so tangible to him that like watching him work was like a master class or something.
Yeah, you've worked with a lot of great people. Is there someone that you have not worked with who you consider an idol of yours that you would love to work with?
You know what I would say? I would say Will Smith, man. I feel like he would be the funnest guy to work with ever, and I grew up watching him, watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I would say it was always Denzel and Will Smith.
Yeah.
And like since I've already worked with Denzel and like been to the table, he's like, it's Will Smith, man.
You could use a comedy after the last couple films.
Right?
Is that something you're comfortable doing? Is it something you feel like you really have to practice?
Like comedy is such a different vein, and it's so much about finding the rhythm and the music of the words that you're given. Because if you don't hit the right beat or right note, it won't land. It's tough to say. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to like kind of slide into that avenue and do something really funny and really good. But right now, like it seems like these hard-hitting dramas are what's working for me.
It's definitely working for you. What do you do to unwind when you get off set?
Music, man.
Music, yeah.
Come on now. I have like 4 or 5 guitars at the house, which is hilarious because they take up so much space. I don't know. I love playing songs. I love learning new songs. I love like mixing and doing mashups of songs, just to learn, just to be able to play for fun, Aside from that, I'm just a regular guy. I love hanging out with my friends, and I love seeing movies.
Very
Like
cool.
that's where this all comes to, man. I love watching stories and I love telling them.
Great. Joseph, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy press schedule to meet up with me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for coming, man. Thank you so much.